Hello everyone and welcome back to another Mystery Gamer tutorial. Today we are going to talk about skills, states, and animations in RPG Maker MZ. But before we start, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more gaming content. Let's try to get to... I'd really appreciate it, and you can always unsubscribe at any time. Other than that, let's get started. Alright, so as you already saw, skills is in the database right over here. Basically, skills are add-ons to your weapons, and attack, a basic attack, counts as skills. So that's like if you don't have any weapon, you can still fight with your bare hands. And then guard, so that you can guard yourself. You know, the basic things that are in RPGs. There's also things like healing, right here. Basic magic that can help heal yourself or a ally of your choice. So let's go back up to attack and talk about all of this stuff right over here. So here you can name your skill, you can choose an icon right over here. There's so many cool icons and you can add more if you want. Here you have the description, then over here you have the skill type, and depending on your class depends on if you can use the skill or not, because some classes won't allow you to have magic or whatever. Then you have scope, which is a lot of different things. You can choose where the skill goes towards. So you can have it to no one, you can have it only to an enemy, you can have it only to an ally, you can have it to both an enemy and an ally, and you can have it to the user, which is yourself. Then here you have your number, which is one of these, or all, both, pretty much that. That's all. See, when I change it, the enemy is 1, the ally is 1, and the user is none. And with the enemy, you can choose it for all enemies or random number. So if it's like a missile that you don't know where it's going to go, you just shoot it up in the sky and it could go anywhere or anyone. You could choose for random. And then status is only for ones that are alive. So like, say you have a healing, but you can't really heal a dead person if they're dead. So healing might be only for alive people. But then there's things that bring back the dead, like that one fallen phoenix or whatever it's called. You might only have it for dead people, so it brings back your dead person. Unconditional targets allies whether they are alive or not, so it's both of these combined. Then up here is MP cost, which is how much magic you use while using the skill. Same here, you use the TP, which is basic status. Then you have occasion, which is always, battle screen, menu screen, or never. Sometimes, like with healing, you will always want it, so that whether you're not in a battle or you are, you can always heal. But some attacks, like if you're making it so that the skill is towards an enemy, you might only want it for battle screen. And then there's some things you might not want in a battle that you want when you're not, so you want it in menu screen, or you just can never have it. And then over here in invocation, you have speed, which is how long it takes for you to use a skill. So a skill could be really powerful, but take a really long time for you to use. Next you have success, which is the success rate of you actually performing the skill, so it might not always happen. You could have a 50-50 chance of it actually happening. Then how many times it repeats, and then TP gain, how much status or experience you gain from using that skill. And then you can choose your hit type and which animation, which we'll talk about in just a second. Then you can display a message which shows when you use that attack. Then down here you can choose what weapon you need to have in order to cast a certain skill. Alright, now we can move up here. This is damage, which basically how much damage is taken and what type of damage, whether it's MP or HP. Then the formula is basically for calculating the damage. I'll leave it up on the screen for you to read. And then effects, same thing like we talked about for our characters and enemies, is just basically parameters you can set on your skills. And then again, notes down here. Okay, so now we can move on to states. States and skills go hand in hand because skills can produce a state. So say you get poisoned from the skill, and then it makes a poison effect. Alright, so for states you can change the name, the icon like we already said. The restriction is same thing like the scope. SV motion is same thing like the scope also. Then the SV overlay is the image displaying while the state is active in side view mode. For the removal conditions is basically when the state is no longer active. So if it's only active during the battle or not, or by a certain thing. There's also removal timing, which depends on what turn you are during the battle, then it'll stop. And then your messages, you can choose what message it shows when you get the state and get removed from the state. And then the traits are pretty much the same thing we have said with the parameters, but it's very good for states because then you can choose how much damage the state does each time. So with poison, you lose health slowly and slowly. And then notes down here. Okay, last thing we have is animations. So an animation will occur when you have a skill or a state active. So things like fire, or your fire, you can play it and it makes a little noise. Very cool. So this was a lot better in RPG Maker MZ than the last one, RPG Maker MV. So I just like this a lot better. You can actually fully see it on a character. So let's talk about animations real quick. So you can change the name here. You can display for which target. You can align. You can see the file name and the animation repeating. You can choose the scale, so you can change it. Like, I don't know what the highest scale is, but then if you make the scale higher, it'll be even bigger. But then if you change it to like maybe 5 or so, it'll be really small. You can change your speed, which is how fast it goes, so you can make it go even slower by toning it down a little bit. Whoa, that's kind of cool. It's still going. So then you can change the rotation. We'll choose where it rotates. That's pretty obvious. And down here you have the offset, which you can change where it is in the image here. So that's too far away. What about 100? There we go, it's over here. Then down here you have sound, which you'll be able to change, and we'll talk about sound in another video. And then over here you have your frame, duration, and color, which you can change the color to, like, you know, yellow. There you go, it's a little more yellow. I think that's more like the character color. And then you can play, change the target, so you can make it that, see what it looks like. There you go. And then change battle back here too. Okay, now let's test out some stuff. Let me just put in some bad guys and we can look at the different skills. Okay, so I got the enemies up. Let's just walk around here and see if they pop up. Alright, there we go. I don't know if these gnomes have skills. I think they do. Here, let's actually just practice with our skills. So guard is one of the skills. Special, willpower. So some of them will have their skills under special and some under magic. You know, fire, we'll put one there. Other magic, we'll put cure on him. There we go. Let's see them all do their stuff. And that was the animation there. There's another one. That's that animation. Okay, let's do it again. Oh, I think she just got poisoned. Yeah. And these were the icons that occur when they have a state. Alright, so that is basically going to be it. Next episode, we will be talking about items, weapons, and armors, because they're pretty much all items. But I want to kind of talk about how to create them. Anyways, make sure to like, subscribe, and have a great day. See you next video.